All right, it's March 27th. This is about my 7th attempt at the precision guided munitions. I've learned a fair amount each time, and before this video, I did watch two really great YouTube videos from GrimReapers on the A10CII dropping JDAM and laser JDAM bombs. Learned a lot there, so hopefully I am now in a position to get this right. The manual, as far as I'm concerned, for the A10C2 was not updated properly from the A10C because it doesn't really show the newer style targeting where you got a vertical bar to the upper left of the speed, which is what you're using instead of a round reticule when you're doing the IM JDAM where it's GPS controlled. So let's see how all this works. That was my big issue, was the second bomb run in that mode. I just couldn't get a handle on it till I watched those videos. So I just centered the track IR. Let's go for it.
Welcome to the training flight on the employment of Precision Guided Munitions, PGM. In this lesson, we'll practice using the Lighting 2 Targeting Pod, TGP, to engage ground targets with laser and satellite guided bombs. I've engaged the autopilot to keep us level and on course. Manage the throttle to maintain airspeed above 200 knots. Press the spacebar key when you are ready to begin.
Let's go for it. Spacebar.
The A10CII is equipped with two types of PGM, laser guided bomb, LGB, and inertially aided munition, IM. LGB munitions home in on the laser energy reflected from a target being painted by a laser designator, such as the one installed on the Lighting 2 Targeting Pod, TGP, or from another source on the ground or in the air. This makes it possible for another platform to provide designation or buddy lays, while the firing platform remains passive. The laser-guided GBUs guided bomb unit carried by the A10CII include the GBU-10 and GBU-12. These are essentially Mark 84 and Mark 82 general-purpose unguided bombs equipped with a Paveweight 2 LGB kit, which adds a laser seeker to the nose and a set of retractable control fins on the tail of the bomb. One advantage of the lighter GBU-12 is that up to 3 can be carried on triple ejector racks, tiers, on stations 3, 4, 8, and 9. Press the spacebar key to proceed.
Alright. So our first bomb will be the GBU-12, which will be the laser guided bomb in CCRP mode.
IMs carried by the A10CII include the Joint Directed Attack Munition, JDAM, and the Wind Corrected Munition Dispenser, WCMD, often pronounced WICMID. Like the Paveweight 2, JDAM is a GBU conversion of the Mark 82 and Mark 84 unguided bombs. However, JDAM utilizes a GPS receiver to determine target and own position. The advantage of using satellite navigation is that, unlike optical systems, it is unaffected by weather conditions. It's also passive and provides a fire and forget capability to the firing platform, allowing more than one target to be engaged at a time. The A10CII is equipped with the GBU-31 2,000-pound JDAM and the GBU-38 500-pound JDAM. Press the spacebar key to proceed.
So here's, I'll call it an error, oversight, whatever. It wasn't ever updated. He keeps referring to the A10C, not the A10C2. And in this mode, the GBU-31 bomb in these JDAM mode does not have a reticule. And you're going to see in his training, he's going to train us to be looking for the round reticule when that's not going to exist. It's going to be a vertical bar. I forget what they call it. It's right here. It'll be just to the upper left of the speed. And that is what we will be monitoring to know where we're at. approaching a target and when to actually press the bomb release button. Let's do it.
The CBU-103 WCMD is a conversion of the CBU-87 cluster bomb. An inertial navigation system, INS, is added to the weapon to provide autonomous guidance toward the target. Like the JDAM, this makes the weapon passive and provides fire and forget capability to the firing platform. Let's now review our payload on the DSMS page by pressing OSB 14 on the left MFCD.
Alright.
We are carrying 2 GBU-12s on stations 4 and 8, and 2 GBU-38s on stations 5 and 7. We are also carrying the Lighting 2 Targeting Pod TGP on Station 2, and 2 captive AIM-9Ms on Station 11. Press OSB 1 to enter the profile main page.
So, just one thing to note, on the A10CII, you can only put the TGP on either stations 2 or 10. Just be aware of that.
Press OSB 19 to cycle to the GBU-12 profile, and then press OSB 3 to enter the profile control page.
View profile.
Press OSB 10 to change the default profile to CCRP. Then press OSB 16 to enter the profile settings page.
RP, so we can use targeting. And then we'll take a look at the settings.
The Auto LS Auto Laser Rotary on OSB 6 selects between automatic and manual laser firing. When set to on, the laser is fired automatically after weapon release. The LS time setting on OSB 17 sets the time in seconds before bomb impact for the laser to fire. When set to 0, the laser will not fire. When set to a value greater than the projected time of fall, the laser will fire immediately after weapon release. When Auto Laze is set to off, the laser is fired manually by the pilot using the HOTAS nose wheel steering button or the insert key on the keyboard. If the latch option of the TGP is also set to off, the laser only fires as long as the nose wheel steering button is held down. The SOLN Solution Rotary on OSB 16 selects between ORP, Optical Release Point, and BAL, Ballistic Release Point solution queues for a CCRP release. Turn on Auto Laze with OSB 6. Set the LS time value to 10 seconds by entering 10 into the UFC scratch pad, followed by OSB 17. Press OSB 3 to save the changes to this profile.
Alright. So, Auto Laze is going to turn on as soon as the weapon's released. And on the TGP, we should see a flashing L to let us know that the laser is lasing.
Press OSB 19 to switch to the GBU-38 profile, and then OSB 3 to view the profile control page.
Alright.
Once again, the options on the profile control page are familiar. Let's take a look at the profile settings page with OSB 16.
Not much to see there.
As you can see, there are no unique options specific to the GBU-38 profile settings. Let's bring the left MFCD back to the TAD page with OSB 15.
There's nothing that signifies these bombs as being set up for JDAM on these settings. It's kind of interesting.
Employing PGMs from the A10CII is relatively straightforward. All you need to do is designate the target point as the center point of interest speed and release the weapons in CCRP mode. To begin, set the TGP to air to ground AG mode by pressing OSB 2 on the right MFCD.
Alright.
It's usually best to prepare for the engagement while keeping the target at your 2 or 10 o'clock position. Otherwise, you run the risk of running over the target before you are finished setting up for the attack. In this case, the weapons range is co-located with waypoint 4, range. We can use this waypoint to cue the TGP to the target. Set your steer point for waypoint 4, range.
Alright, here we go. DMS up. Steer point 4.
Now slave all sensors to speed by pressing the HOTAS China Hat forward long command or the V key on the keyboard.
Forward long. If we had the TGP SOA, we could use China Hat aft long.
You should now be looking directly at the target array range. Note that although the TGP can see out to a great range, you generally want to be under 20 miles for visual detection of a target. Make the TGP your SOI by pressing the A10CII Coolie Hat right long command or hold the K key on the keyboard.
Alright. We just made the
Change
TGP
the field of view
SOI.
FOV setting to narrow by pressing the A10CII China Hat forward short command or the V key on the keyboard.
Right now it's on wide. China Hat forward short.
To get a closer view
Narrow.
of the target area, you can zoom in by holding the A10CII Demus up command or home key on the keyboard.
Okay.
Your first target is on the southeast corner of the array, now marked with red smoke. Slew the TGP to the target using the A10CII slew control or semicolon, comma, period, / key commands on the keyboard. Once the crosshairs are over the target, press the A10CII Demus up command or left control and up arrow keys on the keyboard to set the TGP to area track mode. Repeat the command to set the TGP to point track mode.
So, we are facing the wrong direction. We're 7 miles out. You can see there's an M here for mask, and this says INR. So technically, we can't really target this target yet. So I don't know why he's telling us to. If I do the TMS short, it does go into point, but it still says INR. We're not in a mode where we can do targeting. So if I hit TMS long, which he's going to say to do, we're in point track mode. And he's not going to continue this. But we don't have a way to... is he going to continue this? We are headed outbound, and if we make the TAD soy and then DMS down, here's our waypoint 4 over here. You can see from this vantage point, we don't see the target realistically to be able to set it up as a target. Area, then repeat the command to set it to point track mode. But this is not going to work. What we're going to do is go to full speed and get out to about 10 miles, and then we'll turn towards the target. And then when we do not have this M here, this will change on the display. We're so far away from the target now that we can't
Warning,
do anything.
autopilot.
So let's make a slow turn. Slow down. You can see our target over there on the TAD. Right now it's just on the steer point 4. It's got the wedding cake, but that's fine. That'll get us in the right direction. We'll slow down a little more. We're going to turn. It's right behind the... There it is, right there. Okay, so let's just get into autopilot again. Now, let's take a look here. It still shows a mask.
Warning, autopilot.
Let's get a little closer.
Now make the target your new speed by pressing the A10CII
Here
Demus
we
up long
go.
command or holding the left control and up arrow keys on the keyboard.
That's why he didn't continue the training, is he wanted us to be approaching the target enough so it switches to point. And the moment it did that, we can now use TMS long to make it the new SPI point of interest, sensor point of interest. Okay, we did that. Oh, I think we gotta make the, yeah, I didn't have the TGB of soy. Here we go.
As we approach the range,
there we go.
Bring up the DSMS page on the left MFCD by pressing OSB 14.
We didn't have this as soy when I
Press
hit
the
TMS
select
long.
down rocker key on the UFC to select the GBU-12 profile and make sure the HUD is in CCRP mode.
CCRP, yes it is. GBU-12.
Autopilot is now off. You have control. Now maneuver the aircraft to line up the azimuth steering line, ASL, with the projected bomb impact line, PBIL, of the CCRP reticle. When you are about 20 seconds from the release point, a time to release numeric, TTRN, will appear adjacent to the solution queue at the top of the ASL. About 5 seconds before release, the solution queue and TTRN will begin to move down the ASL toward the CCRP reticle. At that point, you need to press and hold the weapon release button and the bomb will separate as the solution queue passes through the reticle.
We are way too close. We're only a mile and a half. You can see we're not even getting the azimuth line yet. We gotta get out here to come around. That was not gonna work. Let's pass it by. And preferred altitude with these bombs is 15,000 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and climb. Let's see if we can get this right on the first try. Alright. 15,000. That's good. 2.6 miles out. I want to give myself some time so we get 5 miles out. So when the TTRN is what they call it, starts moving down the, there we go, starts moving down the ASL, we can press the release button. So let's slow down, make this turn. 6 miles, almost 7 miles out, this will be good. This should give us enough time. There it is. We don't need to be any higher. Here we go. Speed is good. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah. Okay, now we're doing something good. Just about there. A little bit further over. There we go. Nope, not yet. There we go. We're on the money. Thumbs on the weapon relays. Hey, don't do that. There we go. We're still targeting. Three miles out. There it is.
Monitor the projected time to impact countdown displayed on the bottom right corner of the right MSCD,
Release.
and also the left side of the HUD, below the airspeed indication. Keep the crosshairs over the target.
All right, let's take a look. Oh, yeah.
Let's separate out a bit and we'll use a GBU-38 for the second pass. Press the select rocker key on the UFC once more to select the GBU-38 profile.
All right. GBU-38 profile. Still at 15,000 feet.
Your second target is on the northwest corner of the array, now marked with red smoke. Locate the target with the TGP and begin a gentle left-hand turn to line up for the second pass. Mark the target as the new SPI and begin tracking in either area or point track modes.
Alright, I've always been doing the point track mode for the target, but since it's not a moving target, I think I'll try to just leave it in area track mode. I'm going full speed to get out again. About 10 miles at 15,000 feet. I'm going to make a turn. Let's take a look at our TAD here. Yep, moving straight away. So, you can see we've got some extra information out here already. This is where the vertical bar will show up when we're actually heading towards the target, and it shows we're 9 miles out. I'm going to slow down. We're going to make the turn towards the target and then get our target set up. Okay, let's go.
Warning, autopilot.
Right now we're still on the deceased target. Our TGP is still soy, that's good. When the M disappears, we can go ahead and set up to the target on the opposite side of this runway. Still 12 miles out, that'll give us plenty of time.
IM release
Alright, here
indication
we
is
go.
similar to LGB CCRP release. Range carriage are indicated inside the reticle for maximum and minimum range. As you approach the release point, the ASL will begin to fall down the HUD, and the range bar of the reticle will begin to unwind. When the range bar is between the maximum and minimum range carriage of the reticle, press and hold the weapons release button until the bomb separates. Releasing the weapons release button too quickly may result in a hung store error.
Okay, so we're going to do the let's see if we can see it change. We'll do TMS long forward. Didn't really see it do anything. Okay, whatever. We got to assume this is our new target now. And
Warning, autopilot.
it's time to get lined up with our target. And when we see the L flashing, when we release the bomb, let's see where we're at. We're 6 miles out. When we see the caret for that mileage on the upper left start going down along that bar, it will be time for us to press the weapon release button lined up real well, but it's supposed to be controlled by GPS, so it shouldn't matter that much. We're still on the target. Hey, let's see what happens. It's going down the target. I hit the button release. When's it gonna release? There, it released. Sheesh. It just did it when it felt like it. That's very bizarre. Let's see what happens. Seemed like it was right on the target. There it goes. Going straight down. Not.
Good hit on that second target.
All right! It didn't look that close on the graphic, but definitely
This
a
concludes the
splatter.
training lesson on the employment of precision-guided munitions.
Excellent.
You have a single GBU-12 and GBU-38 remaining to practice if you wish.
You know what? It's weird. As you can see, I was holding the button down, but didn't realize it had dropped one. And then I did the button again and held it down, and it dropped the second one. So that's why we saw, it didn't look like the bomb was there when the explosion occurred, and that's because we were looking at the second one, and the first one was already hitting. My bad. But you know what? It was good insurance. Alright. Hope you found that interesting. That's it for now. Success.